Hey, what's up guys? Brent the Broker here with you today, here to talk about why hire a real estate agent at all. Before we jump into that topic, hit subscribe, turn bells on for notification, and drop the video a like. We really appreciate your support. And stay tuned to the end of the video for the pro tip of the day. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about a few things. For the seller, why it might be a good idea to hire an agent, and for the buyer, why it might be a good idea to hire an agent. And I know, real estate agents, right? I'm with you. There's nothing worse than these real estate agents. No, I'm kidding. There's plenty of good ones out there, but there's also some not so good ones out there. Just like in any industry, there's gonna be the cream of the crop and the ones that are looking after your best interest and making sure that you're meeting your goals, and then there's the ones that just frankly aren't, okay? And here's how we parse through them, and here's why having a high-powered, high-octane real estate agent in your corner might be beneficial. So for the seller, a few reasons. One, a real estate agent is gonna be able to maximize value. Value of any asset is supply versus demand, and what a good agent will do is they will drive demand to your property if you are a seller. And the way you do that is by proper preparation, and that doesn't necessarily mean a full remodel of the kitchen. In fact, a lot of times it means something less than that. So it's doing intelligent fix-ups to the home, it's positioning the property with professional media, photography, videography, and then distributing that media to the proper channels online, because we know 90-something% of home buyers start their home search online. The curb appeal is no longer at the curb, it's on the internet. So we need to make sure that we're positioning your home so that its best features show up in the right channels online so as to drive demand, because we know more eyeballs on the online listing means more feet through the door, which means more offers, which means more money. Second reason why you as a seller might want to work with an agent is because you get the certainty of sale. Is this deal going to close? Do I know this buyer? Do I know potentially this agent that they're working with? Do I know the parties involved are going to be able to get the deal done? Another piece is legal protection. A real estate agent will make sure that all of your proper disclosure, all of the legal paperwork, all of the transaction documents are in line and in compliance, so that a buyer doesn't come back to you after the fact and sue you, because you'll know that all of your ducks are in a row. Another piece of the legal protection is, what if the agent screws up? What if your documents aren't in a row? Well, most agents should be, the good ones will be, insured for errors and omissions. So if there is a mistake in the disclosure to the buyer, a lot of the times the real estate agent's insurance will cover that mistake. So it puts a layer of protection and a layer of insurance between you and the buyer, so that if something does go haywire, you know, it really limits your liability and your exposure as the seller, having a professional do it, an insured professional at that. Another piece of the puzzle is negotiations. So it has been shown that having a buffer between you and your counterparty in negotiation tends to bode well. Sometimes it's hard for the seller, if you're dealing with the buyer directly, it's hard for a seller to say, hey, I'm not gonna cut the price, or I'm not gonna do this repair, or negotiating aggressively is hard when you're staring someone right in the face. But for me as another agent, as your representation, to go to the buyer and say, hey, sorry, the seller won't do that. If they get upset, I can look at them and say, sorry, it's not my choice, it's up to the seller, and you don't have to deal with, the ramifications of that. So there's a sort of the buffer in negotiation allows you to negotiate more aggressively, which tends to end things up in your favor as well. So what about our buyers? The buyers, why would you need to hire a real estate agent? I mean, all we do is open a door after all, right? Can't anybody do that? But a good buyer's representative will do a few things. One, they will negotiate your best interest against the seller. Do you have the experience and the wherewithal to know not only how to negotiate price, but there's several negotiation points during the contract, during the escrow period. There's the purchase price, there is the inspection time periods and your ability to do inspection. Will you be able to negotiate repairs? Do you know which repairs are traditional and what you can typically get repaired, what you can get away with as far as repairs and credits, and what you can't? Do you have someone in your corner that has done this day in, day out, hundreds of home sales, that knows, hey, no, we need to push on this a little harder? I had a buyer client one time that after a home inspection did not want to get the heating system inspected any further. To make a long story short, after me pushing on them saying, no, this is something you really need to do, it turns out there was a major safety hazard with the heating system, and they were able to negotiate a large credit, $6,000 or $7,000 with the seller, where if I wasn't pushing them to do that, if their representation wasn't pushing them to do that, they would have been fine just walking in and taking it as is, and that would have been a $6,000 or $7,000 cost at a minimum, because there was a carbon monoxide leak, and that could have been a disaster for the health and safety of the family. Having someone that does this day in and day out. I know to them it didn't seem like much, but having done this, I knew that this was an issue that at a minimum needed to be explored further, and we kept them out of a very expensive and potentially very dangerous situation. Another reason why a buyer is going to want to work with an agent is because a high-powered agent who's doing this full-time, we're on the phone, fielding phone calls, making phone calls, meeting with other agents, sellers, buyers. We're out in the field all day long doing this. And we have people all the time that say, yeah, I might sell for the right price, or I don't want to put it on the market, but if a buyer came with this or that. And so you have off-market opportunities just by the sheer nature of what we do. We're constantly in contact with people in our marketplace, and that could bode well for the buyers. And we have been able to find the buyers off-market deals. Another reason why an agent's going to want to work with a buyer is, again, because of legal protection. So I can't tell you how many sellers and agents go to give us the disclosures related to this property, and there's things that are obviously missing. There are things that are obviously incorrect. There are things that's obvious to me that, hey, there's information that is not contained in this package. The package looks professional and it looks thorough, but having done it dozens and hundreds of times, I know that there are things missing and there's information that my buyers need to know so that at a minimum they have the knowledge of what they're walking into. Again, on the buyer side, if there is some error, we are insured with our errors and omissions insurance, that if there does end up being something that happens with the property, there's a layer of insurance, legal protection, and experience in seeking these things out. But those are the major reasons why a seller or a buyer might consider hiring an agent. Now, the pro tip of the day is this. When you are out there interviewing agents, make sure to ask them lots of questions, and make sure that you go with someone who comes with the heart of a teacher, right? Someone who's going to teach you, who has an interest in learning your goals, giving you the information you need to meet your goals, and allowing you to make the decision. It should not feel salesy. It should not be pushy. They should not be trying to convince you. Real estate is not rocket science, and most people watching this are sharp enough to understand what's going on here. So find an agent that's willing to teach you the game and allow you to make the decision that works best for you. And some questions you might want to consider asking, and it's not things like how long have you been in the business and how many homes have you sold. All those things are important. Ask them, do they have experience in working these kind of transactions? What can you do to help me find the best financing options? Do you have any, what do you do to try to seek out off-market opportunities? At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have someone, if you feel pressured or stressed, that's probably someone who's not a fit to work together. And frankly, someone could answer all the questions right and do everything right. And at the end of the day, if it's not someone that you vibe with, don't do it, because these are long-term relationships. I mean, from when you're ready to buy or sell to when the thing actually closes, that could be a minimum 3, 4, 5 month process. And I know when I'm working with someone for several months or potentially years at a time, that I want it to be someone that I get along with from a personal angle as well. So that'll be it for me today, guys. Girls, come here. Okay, ready? You're gonna say hit the subscribe button, and you're gonna say turn bells on for notifications, okay? Ready? Go.
Hit the subscribe button.
Turn bells on for notifications.
Turn bells on for notifications.
And hit the like and subscribe buttons. We really appreciate your support, me and the entire family. Talk to you soon.